So yeah, this is just going to be a general maintenance video since my radio system has not arrived yet. If you watched the previous video, the truck actually came with a incompatible receiver and radio system. So for now, I'll just get on with some general maintenance, and I won't include every little aspect, but I will put some things that I found interesting or surprising in. So let's start with this, which is the interior of the truck. As you can see, I did not realize that it was this detailed. You have your dash here, you have your navigation system, obviously steering wheel, and also the drive figure is actually really well detailed. You have different bits of, like, you know, the headband for the goggles, and parts of his helmet has also got different decals in it, and the seat belts. So yeah, for an RTR, oh yeah, they even have cup holders there, you see. So yeah, for an RTR interior, this is actually really nice, and well, it's really cool. I'm actually quite surprised as to how many self-tapping screws are on the truck. This is how it comes. I checked it, and I just thought this was a thing of the past. You know, back in the day, they used to use a lot of self-tapping screws, but I'm surprised they still use it. Honestly, a bit disappointed, because self-tapping screws actually chew up the plastic quite a bit. So even if you want to switch back into machine screws after you thread these in, for the most part the integrity of the plastic is kind of compromised, and the screws, even the new machine screws, won't hold as well. Some of the joints are in pretty poor condition. Looks like whoever the previous owner ran it through mud and water and didn't clean up at all. But thankfully, so far, I have not found a seized bearing, so that's always good. Transmission-wise, I'll just keep this for now. I also have some Trx4 Shocks here. They're the same length, 90mm, and obviously the Trx4 Shocks are a lot better than these stock axial shocks. Pretty mediocre, as you can see. They have quite a bit of wobble. They don't seal particularly well. They leak. You know, they are smooth, I'll give them that, but again, it's not as nice of a shock. Trx4 Shocks, you know, very nice shocks. Otherwise, I have pretty much most of the stuff disassembled. I'm getting into the front axle right now. The gear sets look good. This is the sintered gears, and also obviously they have the dog bones. I actually have some universals from Ssd coming in, and I also have a set of the homemade stainless links that I'll be throwing on. So I'm just going to go ahead and move on to that. I have my rod ends for my homemade links. These are made out of a combination of 1/4 inch and 16 inch. If you haven't seen it yet, I do have a video on how to make these. Very simple power tools, nothing fancy needed, no lathe needed. I actually made these before I got the truck. I just worked off the instruction manual and the measurements they give there, so hopefully these will fit. For the rod ends, I'm going to go ahead and use Ssd Rod Ends. I think Ssd Rod Ends are probably one of the nicest rod ends out there. They're nice and thick, and also, more importantly, the hollow ball width is compatible with the axial stuff. If you try and put, let's say, refill rod ends on a axial link mount, you'll find that these hollow balls are too narrow, and the hollow ball would sort of just shift around in the link mounts. But anyways, I've got this all set, and I'm just going to go ahead and assemble everything. So here are basically most of the links. You have our lower links, front and rear, upper links, front and rear, panhard / steering link, and then obviously the steering drag link. And you know, I'm actually pretty surprised. I got them pretty spot on in length. The only one that's perhaps could be a problem is the upper front link. So it's a little short. I might hammer out the bend a bit more to just give it a bit more length. But yeah, this is basically the homemade high clearance links. So here is the stock steering angle. It's probably around 40 degrees or even less, mostly because of obviously the dog bones. They just don't do well at steep angles, and also they put in this stopper integrated into the link, and again that stops the steering angle from being too extreme and sort of binding up the dog bones. So we're going to go ahead and swap onto SSDs. So here are the SSD universals. These actually give you more steering angle than the stock axial or Vanquish ones. As you can see, the bearing actually rests on this part rather than having an extra flange, and by removing that, that's what it gives the extra steering angle. So yeah, just going to go ahead and undo the hex and basically remove this. This is basically just a drop-in upgrade. So before actually even running it, I have this one installed obviously as the universal. This one is still the stock dog bone. You can already see the amount of steering that I've gained. With the dog bone, this bottoms out before the knuckle even touches the axle itself. Here I've basically bottomed out the knuckle, and it's not like this is bound. This universal joint can still be spun even at that extreme angle. It does bind a tiny bit at this very extreme angle, but as you can see, it's completely usable. So yeah, very impressed so far with the SSD stuff. And just a closer look at the dog bones here. Obviously it's a bit rusted, but you can also see there's quite a bit of wear in the actual drive cup itself. Again, dog bones are just not meant to be steering sharp angles. They can handle shallower angles pretty well, and in fact this is probably the cheapest and simplest way, and it's still quite reliable way to do a joint. But for steering, especially in crawlers, when you want that really tight steering angle, dog bones are definitely not the way to go. Again, just another look at the drive angle. I just can't get over how steep this is able to be at and still steer. It does bind a bit, mind you, but again, it's impressive that it still works so well at max lock steering. So yeah, the link length is perhaps a little short right now. It's sort of getting a bit of a toe in. I'll readjust that. And the steering link as well looks good, and in fact here is the only link. I used Ssd Rod Ends because Ssd Rod Ends, as you can see, will focus, they're a little skinnier at where it goes over the ball end, and that basically gives me more effective travel with it before the rod end sort of binds up. So here's another problem I've ran into. Obviously this is the stock servo, or the stock servo horn with this tactic servo, and here is a Bluebird coreless servo that I have. But the one thing is clearance with the panhard mount and the panhard bar. As you can see, if I align where the servo mounts are, the servo I'm trying to put in is clearly taller. It just protrudes a bit further, and that's interfering with the panhard mount on the truck. So here is the truck as it stands so far. I've spent about a good 3 to 4 hours just going in, stripping out some parts, cleaning off some of the stuff. It's not real deep clean or anything. No electronics so far. I pulled them out. I'll be putting in a Mamba X with a 3500 kV motor and then a Bluebird servo. And currently the batteries I'll be using will be these Zeee 5200 milliamp hours, and they fit the truck very well. It really just fills up the whole space in there, so I'm very happy with these. So what have I done to the truck? I think the first and most noticeable is I have removed all the decals. There's still some of the residue of the adhesive still on there, but I'll get that off later. But anyways, I think the truck looks a lot better without the decals personally. I have left actually the axial logo and the door handles in. I do like these little sort of the sponsor decals, if you like. I like those, so I'm going to keep them in. So yeah, that's pretty much the cosmetic part of the truck. Underneath is where the major changes have happened. I've obviously changed the stock links out for the stainless links I've actually made at home. I managed to get them pretty much exactly as the same length as the stock links. Pretty happy with it. These are 1/4 inch in the bottom, 3/16 inch up top, and then finally Trx4 Shocks. I just had them in a parts bin. These are going to be a lot nicer than the stock axial shocks. But anyways, that's basically it. Let's see the battery, as you can see, fits very well, nice and snug. That's it for this episode. I'll be trying to fit the electronics in the next one. So yeah, that's basically it. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more. Post your questions down below. I'll try my best to answer all of them. Thank you.